Excuse me, sorry. All right, everyone. Hello and welcome to another episode of OpenRCT2 playthrough. So last night I kind of was drinking a little bit. Um, and as I mentioned, if you didn't see last night's stream and you need a little bit of context of as to what happened. So I streamed earlier in the day. I did Bumbley Beach in one sitting, but I ended up watching the Sabres play, um, the Buffalo Sabres, and the game went south very quickly for my home team. So I began drinking some vodka, some mixed drinks, some beer, and I thought it was a good idea. I had nothing else to do a couple of hours before I went to sleep. I thought it was a good idea to start streaming and do the first part of Trinity Islands. Now, looking at what I have so far here on the scenario, I'm surprised that it's turned out as good as it has. Um, you need 750 guests by the end of year three. It's about halfway through year two, so about halfway through the scenario, and I'm just about 100 guests shy of that limit. I do believe I don't have any more money to loan right now, but money revenue is starting to make its way back with some of these other attractions open. So as of yesterday, first of all, I developed the first peninsula right here. This scenario didn't give you very many options at all when it comes to things that were available to start. So I put in a scrambler ride, a merry-go-round. I built the junior coaster. It's a very moderate length junior coaster. Excuse me again. 1 second, sorry. Okay. I'm just very tired right now and very beat up. I was working with my dad again, doing some painting, and today was the last day. This job took 3 weeks for a small sort of apartment, and the job just beat the crap out of me. I'll be completely honest. Me and my dad both were getting frustrated. It was just a lot of wallpaper removal. We were there to paint, but it was wallpaper removal. It was skimming the plaster walls because they were never prepped the right way, like 100 years ago when they were put in. And so I'm in a little bit of pain right now, but I'm gonna suck it up and I'm gonna continue streaming here just because this has taken my mind off of things a little bit. But the job's over now, and so yesterday, of course, this was the first portion of the islands that was developed, or the islands, I should say. Like I did in Evergreen Gardens, before I developed this island over here, and this one is yet to be touched, I did cut off the pathway leading to both of these islands. If you don't have anything over here, there's no reason for guests to walk over there. They'll get fatigued, they'll be unhappy that they're walking long distances without anything to do. So, this mine train coaster was really the main attraction of the second island, which I did open up. I'm not too happy with how it came out. It looks a little bit messy over here. I wish I could have done a little bit more, but space was an issue. Money was also an issue. This maybe I should have made a little bit wider, but I think it looks fine. It's again a moderate scale mine train coaster. The brake run into the chain lift here, the second chain lift that serves as a block section. It's kind of cramped in there and messy, but the ride works. It has a full queue just about, and two trains that can move people and bring revenue very quickly. And then finally, I installed a pirate ship once the pirate ship was developed, and a very classic RCT1 shuttle loop. It's not even the RCT2 model or the more traditional one that has the second spike, but this is the RCT1 canned shuttle loop model. And this is currently the highest profiting attraction in the park. It's a very quick cycle, it's very high capacity for being one train, and it makes 450 per ticket. Yeah, so bringing in 450 per rider is something very good for as high capacity as this ride is. So I mean, money is going to start coming back between the three coasters now in operation. They're certainly all revenue makers. I do have a couple of more flat rides now as well that will also help that. This third island I'm going to save. Probably at about the end of year two, I'm going to start developing the last major attraction or major coaster over here. That will help get over the 750 guest threshold. Right now, after this boost of attendance, it will probably sit at about 700, if not close to 750. But one more major attraction is going to be necessary, kind of, to create that cushion and comfortably be over 750 guests. Park rating is also doing well. I don't have too much staff right now. 4 handymen and 2 mechanics is all I have, but it is sort of a very small layout park. The pathway does go out here, but it's a very non-complex path system. It's very general and it's staying clean. I have a couple of food stalls over here. There is one on this island as well, and there is the restroom and information kiosk right at the park entrance. Probably once I open up this island, either a restroom will go over here or I'll put one sort of right here in between these two islands. But probably, something like one more drink stall, one more restroom will be all that's needed for the size that this park is. One more major attraction. There is some flat space left over for some flat rides. I'm not going to go with a transport ride. I could do a chairlift, but there really is no reason for one. If I just bridge this pathway over to this island, that will sort of connects these 3 islands full circle. It's not a very large park, so a transport ride is not a necessity here. But as long as the paths all connect and people, let's say if they're on this island, if they want to exit the park, they won't have to walk all the way around the other 2 islands. They'll just be able to go over the bridge right here and they'll be near the park entrance, sort of. Um, so research, the wooden wild mouse was developed. I don't think that's the one I'm going to go with here. I do also have this mini suspended coaster that I may use. I did use the looping coaster, the mine train, and the junior coaster. I'm not going to build probably a wild mouse in this scenario. The wooden wild mouse and the spinning one is available. I don't think that that's something that I intend to build. If I was going to build it right here in the middle of this island would be a perfect location, but I think the middle of the island should be reserved for a flat ride or two. A station for a coaster can go here and the coaster can either circle around the islands or it can go out this way and back. There's a few options to kind of fit a lot in on this island. And I would say, because of this chunk of land in the middle, it is the flattest of the three. This one, besides the sand section right here, is virtually in it just a big hill. And this one, there were a couple of flat sections of lands, but once you get over here, there's a hill and it's all kind of on a ridge. So the third island is the most ideal to build upon, I guess. And this one, I could only really fit the mine train over the majority of the island. So these two attractions had to be built off of the island over the shore. Not something I like doing too much, but for this scenario, it is sort of necessary because flat land is not something that is available. Um, I do have a swinging inverter ship. That may be a good flat ride to put over here once this island opens, along with a coaster. Go karts, there really isn't enough space to build them. I could build another small track, but I think that I'm not going to do that for this scenario. Don't have any ambition to build a transport ride or rowboats. They're not necessities for this particular map. So I do have my research going into a very general thing: shops and stalls, water rides. In fact, I think I'm not going to research shops and stalls anymore. I have enough available. I could always build a duplicate drink stall. I don't think that I put in a fry stall either. So with the pizza stall, maybe a fry stall and a drink stall on the third island. That'll be good enough for shops and stalls. There's no reason to put more research into them. And a water ride will be the next one available. I think I'm gonna also disable that, hoping it's something like a log flume or that would be something that I would consider building right away. But I hope it's not swan boats or a dinghy slide, because those are attractions I don't want to go with here. I think the park's doing really well though. Middle of the scenario, less than 100 guests off of the limit. So, by the start of year three, I probably will have just about the target number of guests. And the park is making a little bit of its money back right now, too. I'm not going to repay any of the loan yet, but I'm going to let the park generate some revenue back so that it's there in the bank for when I'm ready to build the next big ride. And I'll just keep this up so I can see exactly what I'm going to be getting next. If it ends up being a log flume, I may consider building the one. Um, I don't know if I want it to take up a lot of room on this island, so I may try to fit it in maybe a station over here and have it interact somehow, make it a shorter layout, just as a filler attraction, until I figure out what big coaster I want to put on the third islands. But I don't want to spend too much space or money on a log flume. If it's something like I said though, if it's something like a dinghy slide or just like swan boats for the boat docks, I'm not gonna end up building either of those. Just not things that I want to put in this map. So I'll continue thrill rides, coasters, general rides. I'll untick general rides as well. I kind of want thrill rides and coasters right now. There aren't too many developed, and that is going to be the next thing that I want to put in the park. Dodgems can always go in somewhere if they're researched down the line. That's something I can put in towards the end of year three. But for right now, I want to focus on getting that next design that's going to be beneficial for me to use. I do kind of like how the park is coming out, though. The mine train is probably the biggest eyesore to me. The junior coaster is what it is. It's not the best looking, but it serves its purpose. I'm not too big of a fan of how you have to keep building off of the land over the water in this scenario, but it is a map that I don't particularly like very much. It's one that's not too difficult, but I just don't really like the terrain that they give you, and um, just generally how the parks end up developing because of the awkwardness of the land. Yeah, see, this is exactly what I didn't want. Canoes for boat hire. I will not be putting in a boat docks in this scenario. I could do a tracked one, but then I'm building a pathway that goes right down to the water, and it's not worth it to me for the cost that it's going to be to build, and it's going to bring virtually nobody else into the park, and it will be a very low profiting attraction. You'll only be able to charge $1 or $2 for the boat docks, depending how long your layout is. The park is making money now at a very quick rate, which is a good thing. By the time the next major ride is researched, I will have enough in the bank to get that up and rolling. I'm going to fast forward a little bit here, just so that I can see what the next design is. I'm still doing good on time. The number is increasing. It's going to be just about 700 guests. It probably will end up tapering off here as well, but that's okay. It's not going to be very hard to get approximately 50 guests within a year or so. And I'll have some time at the end of year two to begin building that last big attraction and bring some more people into the park as well. The park rating and the guest count is holding pretty steady at the moment, which is good. Okay, so this will be a roller coaster. Hopefully, it's something like the inverted coaster or something larger that I can actually use. I have done a launched invert in the past on Third Island, and that may be something that I want to construct again here. 14th of August. As soon as I know what it is, I'm going to slow down. Mm-hmm. Yep, so it is the invert. Some people are saying it's too crowded, but considering more people are saying other things, that's not too much of an issue. And there isn't too much I can do with this path system just because it's a very slender slender plot of land as it is. A lot of people need to go to the bathroom though, and where are they? Maybe I will build a restroom on this island over here. There is one at the very front of the park. So maybe I build one sort of in the middle of the park. That works. Yeah, a lot of people are already using it, so It's probably about time that a second restroom is up and operating. Okay. Once the inverted coaster, I'll have enough money as soon as it's researched. That is what I'm going to build or begin building. And probably by the end of year 2, it'll be complete. As soon as the inverted coaster is done, I'm going to open this island up. As I get more flat rides and stuff, I'll fill in the blanks. But I do want that attraction open and getting people and bringing people into the park as soon as possible, just so that by the time year 3 rolls around, I begin creating that cushion that I need to win the scenario. Park ratings doing very well. The guest count has held very steady and increased over the course of the scenario, and I wasn't in very good condition either yesterday to be building stuff, but I'm very impressed with how well everything came out. I still have to post that stream to YouTube as well. I haven't gotten on that yet because I just want to review it and make sure I haven't said anything too bad, done anything too bad. But also, I had music playing through my headphones, so I want to make sure that I had everything routed the right way, so that I don't get any copyright stuff. Okay. So I probably will end up doing like a launch design here. I could build a traditional lift hill in that, but it'll take up less room if it launches right into the coaster. This will be a very compact sort of inverted coaster, maybe on the lower side of a moderate scale, but so maybe I go with a large. I haven't done any of these large elements yet. I wish there was a large corkscrew as well, but this one may have to do. That would be a very very weird element right there. Um, I'm not gonna do it. Large half loop. I could do. All right, so I'm gonna do sort of like an Immelman right out of the station. That would be a cool element. I don't know how intense it's gonna be or anything like that, but I'll see. And maybe I do an inline twist while it's high up in the air there, and there isn't a lot of speed, and maybe it dives off over the pathway. Um, I have 100 feet to spare, so this would be a very cool coaster in real life. Maybe not so much realistic because it is, a B&M invert and it's a launched one to boot, but interacting with the water, having a launch right into big elements there. Maybe I do a normal vertical loop. It'll have one, two, three inversions as it stands. And I need to be okay, so I'm at 15 feet. Maybe I do the on ride photo section. I do a set of trim brakes. I'll need about 27 to make it around a corkscrew. And shoot. Okay, so there won't be enough room for that. Or maybe I do a left facing corkscrew. Yeah, that'll work. And I do brakes, block brakes. This will be able to run 2 trains. All right. So very short kind of coaster. I have done a design very similar to this before. This one isn't as good as my previous design, but I'm fine with the way it looks. As long it's probably going to be very intense. That's what I'm expecting here. Um, Powered launch. And I could have sworn that I had block brakes in here. There should be. Okay, maybe not. There should be two trains available. Powered launch. I don't know. I'll see how it does. It may only need one train, similar to the shuttle loop. It may be a very um, compact sort of design that can eat people, especially with a 9 car train. I mean, if I do a block break right here, will it allow me to run two trains? I don't know what the issue is with this right now. Okay, now it's saying that I can run two trains. But it's also doing this weird thing now where it's okay, try it out. Okay, that's way too fast. Maybe about a 50-mile-an-hour launch. Jeez. Okay, that thing is cooking. That I'd like to see what the test results would have been on this one. It's probably going to be very intense, regardless. So 50 miles an hour is what it's going to take to get it over that. And yeah, that's definitely going to have to be slowed down quite a bit. Um, I'm going to have to add a trim brake around here somewhere. I don't know how much. Be 27 miles an hour. This is a very convoluted type of coaster. I just want it to work out okay though, just to be able to get it open and pass this map. And that's not going to be enough to make it around. So I'll bump it up a few miles an hour there, about 10 miles an hour, see how that does. This element is taken just fine. It's taken very slow. That inline twist will be intense, but nothing too crazy. This right here is going to be. No, the loop's taken just fine as well. Okay, so this is going to have to be sped up now. I just barely wanted to make around the corkscrews and stuff so that it doesn't get as much of an intensity rating. Clears that loop just fine. The corkscrew, it'll be fine now. Okay, so that ain't bad. I mean, it's a very high intensity rating, but none of the forces at this point are really out of balance. It will have one 9 car train, so it will be higher capacity with that single long train. Um, yeah, that should be okay. And it is about the end of year two as well, so I'm gonna get this sucker open. Just gotta see here. That is a good enough of a queue line. I'll use this darker path just for the exit ramp. Um, I'll fence it in as well. Nothing special. There we go. As for this, I'll give it a pagoda themed station. I want to do sort of like a dragon. The trains, I like the color that the train is, and I actually also do like the color that the track and supports, not the supports, but the track and rails rather, are. Maybe a black to go along with that. And as for the name, I'll call it Dragon Attack. That's a very good song by Queen, Dragon Attack. It's from the Game album. It's a very underrated song that not a lot of radio stations in that play it. It was very good drum song, very good bass line vocals. And I'm gonna connect this guy up. So I'll need the dirt path. I believe this just goes up one. Boom. There we go. This ride will be open now. I can charge $6 for it. And with the $3 on ride photo, I guess it makes up for me not putting an on ride photo section on the mine train. This coaster will have one now. Um, it is a high running cost because inverted coasters usually are higher operating costs, and I don't know if the launch factors into it or not, but I'm assuming that it will. But $9 per ride, and it will be fairly high capacity. Money, money will be able to be made on this ride. And as for advertising, I am going to advertise the ride for, let's say, 8 weeks. It is a major ride, and I will advertise the park for 8 weeks as well. Leaves me with a little bit of money, but the scenario is at a point where the attractions are making their money back. So that's about 5 grand well spent on advertising, and this attraction will be open now. So just make sure that people want to ride it and stuff. A lot of people will say that it is too intense for them. Not a lot, but I'm sure most people will go on it. Considering that the ratings are very similar to Speed Demon, which was a corkscrew coaster I built in Bumbley Beach, this should be no problem for the park. Nothing's in the extreme, and it just barely broke the very high intensity barrier. Um, and I actually, I was wondering because I was thinking Speed Demon. I guess I got the Demon name from like Six Flags Great America or California's Great America from Demon, that Aero corkscrew coaster. But Speed Demon, I was actually using a tube of caulk today while I was painting. Well, not today, but the caulk. The name brand of it is actually called Speed Demon, so I guess that's why the name popped in my head yesterday. It was like a memory in the back of my brain. I saw the name Speed Demon somewhere, and it was the product that I was using. Maybe I will do a little bit of terrain for this coaster just to break it up a little bit. Um, like this over here. This can all be, and I don't want to break the bank and spend too much money, but that can be some rock back there, just because I haven't used any yet in this scenario. And for the major attraction, it does deserve a little bit of um, a little bit of love, if you will. I will stop researching the coasters now. I'm good on those. So, thrill rides and gentle rides. Try to get some more flat rides here at the end of year two, beginning of year three. The park now is over the 750 guest requirement, but with the advertising campaigns just beginning, um, that certainly will rise as well. And that I just put in another major attraction. I will add 6 handymen for the time being. One, this guy actually, where are you? This guy, his patrol zone is just going to be around the stirred islands. That's all. That's the only place I want him to be because it is going to be high foot traffic, and with the intense roller coaster, there will be litter to pick up. What else did I want to build? Okay, so I'll keep the swinging inverter ship in mind. If something like bumper cars pops up, that would be a good ride to put on this island. A nice gentle ride to supplement the thrill ride that's there. And I will also need litter bins and benches because this is a very intense ride as well. Mini roller coaster is available. I'll keep that in mind. If I'm going to do either the mini or the mini suspended, I think I'll go with the mini suspended. Um, just because I haven't been able to use it yet. I know Katie's World, the next scenario, has a pre-built mini suspended coaster, but maybe I put a couple benches here on the boardwalk. I will think about connecting this pathway over here as time goes on here in a second. And I'll need some litter bins as well. That should be enough to get started. I'll add in more benches if need be, if a lot of people need to use them. Queue time 3 minutes, so it's doing fairly well. It's not a very long queue either, so just about one or two cycles. The amount of people queuing in this line will be one or two cycles worth on the train, and the ride itself is only um, 40 seconds long, so just like the shuttle loop, it's a very quick cycle time. So one train, especially with this being a long train, that'll be pretty good for all intents and purposes of getting people through the line. I don't really have any other, flat rides that I can use at this point, which is rare. Normally, I tend to research these, excuse me, a little bit more. And there are over 800 guests in the park now, so this is beginning to create that cushion that I need. And as far as this boardwalk goes, I may just build it right in here. As long as I can. Oh, well, the coaster's kind of in the way there as well. This will actually work out pretty good. I will bump this piece of land down a little bit, just so that's. There we go. And I'll add some benches and bins along this path as well, just because it is a longer path. Man, this has really been glitching on the last scenario or two. The mouse, the cursor has been glitching. So this will give a nice network. People can get between the three islands very quickly with this kind of square boardwalk that now surrounds the whole island. And that also eliminates the need for me to build a transport ride because the path system is well developed. It is crowded in spaces, especially on this main drag, but there isn't much I can do with this scenario. Only 21 people are saying that it's too crowded, and that is like outside of the top 5 of the most common thoughts as of this moment. A lot of people running out of cash, a lot of people that are thirsty, so I am going to build a couple of stalls in here. The drink stall, it's right there, so if I build stalls right here, that'll be very close in between. So here's what I'll do. I'll do a fries stall um over here. I wonder if I forget if people pay $2 for fries or not. But I'll add another food stall at the far end of the park just in case people need it. And then as far as drinks go, this is a very central location. That's the issue um, of the drink stall that I currently have. So maybe I build it. I'm not paying that much for fries. Okay, so $1.50 is what I'll be able to charge. Maybe I build the drink stall right here. It is close. I mean, it is one leg of the midway down, but if people pass by this drink stall as they're coming in the park and maybe they go on the mine train and then they walk around and they come to the third island, they'd rather go to this one than going, farther down the path to return to the first island to get a drink. So I guess I could have put these two stalls one by one next to each other, but that's fine for now. This scenario is going to be winding down here. And research the Ferris wheel will be the next design. Maybe I do put a Ferris wheel in on this island. There is space certainly for 2 or 3 flat rides in the interior of it. I don't plan on putting a coaster or another attraction there, so if I were to build another coaster, I think that I would end up removing. Are people even? Not many people are going on the haunted house, so this may be the next attraction that I sacrifice in the name of space and adding a new one. There is certainly some more space to be used out on this island as well. I'll just have to see which of the two is better for me to add another coaster. I don't really need another coaster, but I just want to add one because the money's kind of rolling in now, and I feel like building a little bit more on this scenario, especially since I broke it up into two parts, yesterday and today. Okay. I do like the way that this looks and that it came out. I wish there was some more pagoda theming or dragon sort of theming, but it is what it is. I dressed that small area up as best as I could with what was given. Very, very non traditional inverted coaster, but it's something a little bit different. I have already used the inverted coaster design in Diamond Heights, but it was a chain lift one, so here I went with a launched one, which of course is not common at all. Um, it's never been done for the B&M inverted coasters, but so I'll do a Ferris wheel. I'll do it right about here. This will leave me space for another ride inside of there. Okay, that can connect there, and it's not going to need a long queue line, so that'll be good. Okay, and I'll put a piece of rope fence in here. How does it look from this side? All right, so that's all closed in now. Guess I could put a couple in there. Yep, that looks pretty good. Nice. So the Ferris wheel, not one that I like using too much, but it'll give something else to do in this area of the park, a gentle ride to kind of counter the ride that's right here, or the major intense ride that's right there, I should say. Colors, I like the gray for the support. Maybe I'll do sort of that. Yeah, that looks pretty good. And I'll call it Revolution, I guess. I wasn't planning on going like with like a pagoda or Asian theme in the section of the park. That is limited to this ride right here. But Revolution, I don't know. It's not meant to be like a war themed ride or anything. It's just the name that I came up with, and I will be able to get $1 out of this one per rider. So that is fairly decent. The trees certainly help. The many trees that are around this ride. I should be getting another general ride. So if I get bumper cars or something, those can go in there. Once I put another flat ride in here, I the next attraction I'll sacrifice is likely the haunted house for a station or at least to start another major ride maybe. And once I've done one ride here, I will probably fast forward at that point. It's the beginning of year three, but the guest count is greatly increasing. I'll pay back some of this loan. I'll keep about 5 grand in the bank and repay as I go. Staff, I should be good for the time being. It is a smaller style park. The rides have been staying operating with 3 mechanics. The paths seem fairly clean. There is one patrol area here for the one guy, but the rest of the paths around the park seem clean with the other 5 handymen, except for right here. But that's okay for now. Um, the rest of it's staying clean with the other guys. go. Add some of this in. See over here if there's anything that can use. Okay, so maybe one there. The rest of it's all boardwalked in. I just wanted to hit the flat pieces of land with a little bit of fencing to kind of close it in a little bit more. Research, spiral slide. Okay, not what I was looking for either. I don't think I'm going to use the spiral slide in this scenario, but this haunted boathouse right here, yeah, it's time to get rid of it. I just keep reducing the cost for it more and more. Time to build in something new here, and I do believe I'm going to go with the mini suspended coaster design. Um, Nowhere really I can build it in this area. I mean, if I do it this way, yeah, no, that's not going to work. And that's the shortest one that they have. All right, so that'll work. I will. Oh, I never even disabled the brakes failure. I don't think any of the rides that's a concern for, but I'll do it anyways. Um, I mean, I don't even know, to be honest, now if I want to build this coaster. I will, but I don't even really need it. It won't even let me, do very high supports. Um, there aren't any banked turns either, so. And I gotta get back up to 15 feet somehow. So maybe instead I go this way with it. Loop it around again. Maybe. It'll be more like a zip line than it will be a coaster. That's kind of the inspiration, I guess, that I'm going with here. And if I want to build it here, I'm going to have to... It will have clearance between the paths because the path's at 15 feet and it's a 10 feet difference between... Shoot, what did I mess up there? Oh god, it's actually on this piece of lands. Um... Okay. I'll tunnel it. I'll tunnel it. And I guess I gotta also think about the station, how long that's gonna be. That many blocks should be enough. There. There are no brakes in this one, so I'll build it there. Entrance and exit. Yeah, this is more of a zip line type of coaster than it is a, suspended version. Oops. Oh god. Don't fall. Stop going this way. Alright. And maybe I do a little bit of theming within the walls right there. I already used this. Okay. And, maybe I even put in some of this rock work down here for the tunnel area. It's more of like a pass under the station than it is a tunnel, but I mean, I guess it's unique. I'll give it the jungle entrance. I can have 6 cars on this bad boy. And as for colors, I don't want to go with the black. The black track is okay. I haven't used black at all yet in this park. But the supports, I just used green with the Ferris wheel. Ooh, God, no, that's not what I wanted. I misclicked. Is there like a... Oh, how did that happen? How did that happen? I didn't even see. Okay. This mini coaster design was a very bad idea from the start. I'm definitely gonna have to. I'm guessing that it's because it's such a small vehicle that it loses its momentum very quickly. Um, I mean, it goes down a couple of drops here. It should have the speed theoretically to make it around. No, not even close. I'm gonna have to pull a... What did I call this one? Bamboozler. I'm gonna have to pull a bamboozler and make multiple lifts. And how much space do I have? Okay, so I have proper space going out this way, just so that I don't have to have like a chain segment going all the way around. In fact, I can even build this one up higher. There we go. Um, how did I end up doing that? You know what? I'm just gonna go with... Where are you? Oh! No, 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 no! Okay. So that guy unfortunately drowned. Man, everything's going from bad to worse in this scenario all of a sudden. So that's out. Um, I'm just gonna do that. We'll see how this works. Um, here I am looking at the colors of the ride, and all of a sudden the coaster crashes. I'll go with the black and green, I guess. And as for the cars, maybe a yellow instead of the red. I want to make sure that this one makes it all the way around before I put on a bunch of cars again and it crashes. That I had no idea what was going on there at all. I'm in like a haze right now. We had a fountain or two. Yeah, it's like roller soaker now in a way. All right, so it'll have enough speed at this point to make it all the way around. Um, People are probably gonna say right off the bat here that I'm gonna reset the crash status actually, just because I don't want people not riding it because of my silly blunder, not paying attention to what was going on. Maybe I'll do railings here, some mute green railings for this ride. Yeah, that looks decent enough. Add in some more of these railings right here. And I'm nearly done with the scenario. I'm going to begin fast forwarding as soon as I get a rating for this 4.65, so it's a 450 ride. The name, I think like a bat, or I'll call it something gleeful gliders. Is gleeful a word? I don't even know. Jove jovial flyers. I zippity zippity zipline. Zippity doo zipline, whatever. Hopefully people actually ride it now though, because of the crash status. They should, because I reset the crash status through a cheat. Okay, so the park is losing guests now. So I'm gonna do a couple of advertising campaigns here. This one can go all the way. I'm gonna continue building some rides. So the maze was researched. Was anything else? No. Maybe I will do a swinging inverter ship over here. Um, just because I don't know how long it's going to be for bumper cars to research. Okay. Name. I'll call it Sledgehammer. Paint. Hmm. Should probably be. Um. Yeah, it'll be all white and black. Maximize the program on it to get the most money. I should be able to charge about $4 ish. And there is still some room for bumper cars to go in once they're researched. So these couple of attractions right here should help fight off people leaving the park. I mean, 826 guests, that's still, 70, well, now with 829, that's still 74, 75, 76, whatever amount higher than, no, not 74, 75, 76. 75 would have been 825 plus 10, 835 is 85, 86 higher. Observation towers research. I won't do an observation tower in this park. I don't want to put in really another gentle ride at this point. Gentle rides and thrill rides are what I have it set to. Maybe I'll replenish a couple of trees here inside of there. So this isn't really meant to be a coaster as much as it is sort of a zip line attraction, one of those cheaper, um, not carnival, but like the Soaring Eagle zip line or whatever company builds it. I believe that they're making a coaster similar to this now. Um, so more of a zip line rather than the pterodactyl flyer coaster style. But that's at least in my mind what this attraction is. A zip line sort of attraction over the water. Um, there are a lot of crossovers on this pathway between Dragon Attack and this ride, both going over the pathway at different heights. So that's probably a cool visual if you're a guest walking along the boardwalk here to see trains and cars going across there. And also this pathway as well would have the same thing. For a realism standpoint, there would probably be some kind of awning or covering over the pathway where the tracks intersect, but I'm not going to get too crazy with that right now. In fact, I'm going to start fast forwarding right now. Okay, so what rides were researched there? No bumper cars. I don't even know if you get them in this scenario. Let's see. No, you must. The motion simulator was researched, as well as the top spin and the launch free fall. I was gonna do bumper cars in here. I could also do a launch free fall. I'm sure if this is one of the scenarios that I revisit down the line, there is potential, not much space, but if I expand the boundaries of the park, especially if I acquire some land over here or over here even, um, there would be potential to add a lot more of these rides. But the guest count is about 200 now over what it needs to be. I'm gonna pay off a lot of this loan here. Hyperspeed it. I just want to see space rings. No bumper cars yet. No, you don't get bumper cars. You don't get dodgems in this scenario. So, I mean, I'll set it down to no funding then, I guess, and pay off the rest of this loan. And I'm just gonna fast forward from here. And in a few seconds, I will have won Trinity Islands. Nice. So a two-parter for this one. Um, Started it yesterday, end up finishing it today. I'll do a bit of a recap. I'll see if I want to start Katie's World, which is the next scenario. I just got to see how long it is, kind of, and stuff like that. Or I may stop streaming for now and then later come back to it. So, Trinity Island's very cut and dry scenario. You have about the same amount of land as you would in a Leafy Lake or a Dynamite Dunes. You do have to deal with terrain though on all three of these islands, so it is a good idea. Like the mine train, I had interact. It's pretty flat on this island, but this island over here, you have to build a lot of the attractions on the shoreline, and that it is beneficial to use the shoreline, like right here, and build rides directly over the water because that's just flat open space that you can immediately use. But I started over here. I built the Scrambler and the Carousel, which were like the only two flat rides available from the start, got those up and operating. I immediately began, after placing some stalls as well, built a custom junior coaster design because it was the only coaster available and it was cheap. This one's been operating since the beginning, and as far as profits go, it's doing fairly well per hour. I'm just curious to see, not many rides total in the scenario, but so Bamboozler will be the top attraction, but this one is also okay. It's running two trains, but it is a very high revenue maker, and it probably is the most popular coaster in the park. Mad Science, which is the classic shuttle loop design, is also still doing very well and profiting hugely. Followed by Dragon Attack. I really wish I could have put two trains on this. I had block sections set up. I don't know why it wouldn't let me, but even with one train, it is a high profiter. Polynesian Party is fourth, and Zippity Zipline. I'm guessing it's because of the low capacity. It's not doing bad, but for a coaster, it certainly could be doing better. The Scrambler and the Pirate Ship are both doing better than that ride, and let me see here. Okay. So the least profiting attractions, two of the general rides, the Ferris wheels generally don't make much money at all, but this one certainly is. It does have a longer queue time, but that's okay. The merry-go-round is still profiting, and Sledgehammer, believe it or not, I don't know what it is. If it just went down or it didn't. It doesn't seem like it, but for a $4 ticket, it certainly isn't making a lot of money. It does have a high intensity rating. It is a flat ride with a lower capacity, but at $4 a ticket, it should be making more money than it is right now. But it is profiting nonetheless. So I mean, you win some, you lose some. After developing this first leg of the park, this used to be a haunted house, which I removed for the zipline attraction because it just wasn't profiting anymore. It was cheap to install, and I don't regret putting it in or anything because it did profit for a little while, a little bit, but it was time to remove it after it became a couple of years old. I then built the custom mine train, which opened up the second island right here. When it opened, the mine train was the only thing operating, but it was the highest ticket price for a ride in the park. Still is to this day the most popular ride. So, just building one large attraction and a couple supplementary ones for this island did its job. There is a food stall and a restroom over here. But then, with the money I had, the pirate ship was researched and I opened this up. And then the shuttle loop, the looping coaster, was researched after that. So I put this one in to be a quick profiter, and it still is to this day. It's a very popular ride in the park. Finally, when the inverted coaster design was developed, that is my major attraction for the third island, which I opened it up with just Dragon Attack. I did the launch design that kind of goes around, shorter layout around this island, and it is a well profiting ride. Later on, when I got the Ferris wheel design, I put that in. I was hoping to put bumper cars here, but apparently you don't get dodgems in this scenario, and I did put in the swinging inverter ship just as a couple more attractions to add to this island. The final thing I did, I removed the haunted house that I had and I added in this custom mini coaster. Looking back, I probably didn't need it, A, but also B, I could have done a better design and such things. But it's another little filler attraction. I mean, it is profiting. Actually, the profit just went up big time. It just basically doubled its profit. Not a lot of profit for a coaster, but certainly is performing better than the haunted house that previously occupied this space right here. Sledgehammer. Okay, Sledgehammer is increasing as well, so maybe it just rained or something before I stopped fast forwarding that ended up hurting the ride's performance. Yeah, it's doing decent now. Could be making more, but for a flat ride, it's certainly average, if anything. All right, so I'm gonna save this one, and I'm gonna let me check something. Okay, stream is good. 1 second. Katie's World is the next scenario. It is one that I fairly like. It's a 3-year one, but it is a park value scenario as opposed to the traditional guest count. The next two are actually park value ones, Dinky Park and Katie's World. Aqua Park is a guest one. Same with Millennium Mines and Cards and Coasters. So the next couple scenarios will be a park value type of deal. So it will be a lot of building. I'm going to take a break really quickly and I'll be back in a few minutes. Yeah, I will probably do at least start Katie's World. Um, so I will be back in a few minutes to start that. And stick around. I will get cranking on the next one very soon. All right, I'm back. So I probably won't end up doing all of Katie's World today. I may split that one up into two parts as well, just like I did with Trinity Islands. But Dinky Park is only a 2 year scenario, so probably next episode I'll finish whatever's left over at Katie's World and do Dinky Park along with that. Um, so let's see what we have here. Katie's World, a small theme park with a few rides and room for expansion. Your aim is to double the park value. So this scenario is actually some of the scenarios. There are scenarios in the RCT1 expansion packs like Alton Towers, Blackpool Pleasure Beach, Heidi Park, that certainly are direct sort of carbon copies of those properties at the time. But for this scenario, it actually is meant to be designed like Lightwater Valley in the UK. It isn't named that, but this coaster, the Storm, is certainly based off of the Ultimate, which is one of the longest roller coasters in the world. Unfortunately, it will not be operating for the 2021 season, but I believe that the park is doing some work to it, and they plan to open it back up in the future. But not everything from Lightwater Valley is included in here. There are certainly our rides like the Storm would be the ultimate. They actually just removed Runaway Plumber, which was named Rat Race or something like that, or Rodent Race. That ride was actually just removed, and it's quite unfortunate because Lightwater Valley seems to be they had a lot of thrill rides that were flat rides and stuff. And they've been removing a lot of rides. Just in 2021, they do claim that it's for COVID reasons, financial reasons, but also because they're trying to make it a more family friendly park and change the atmosphere. I really do hope that Lightwater Valley continues to operate in the future. I've personally never been there. There's a very good chance that I never will end up visiting the park, but just for the sake of the industry and some of the unique rides they have, they're like the ultimate. I hope that they don't go under. But for the purposes of the RCT1 scenario here, we need a park value of 150,000 by the end of year 3. I think that Diamond Heights was 200,000 if I'm not mistaken. So this scenario, just like Diamond Heights, you do have a park with some major attractions already running here, but the park value is at 76,000. So you're just about doubling your park value by the end of the third year. The problem is though is that these rides, for instance, the Storm was built 2 years ago. Runaway Plumber, if I can find where to click here. Runaway Plumber was built last year. And some of these other rides, I'm not sure how old they are. I'd imagine that maybe the Railroad. The Railroad was built last year. Al's Galleon. So the Storm may be the oldest ride in the park here, but these rides will start devaluing fairly quickly. Just because they're already in place, the Storm is going to devalue quicker than the others because it is older and it is the largest attraction that you have. Um, it's going to be very important to maybe replenish some of these rides, rebuild a couple of the flat rides that'll be easy to do so, um, but also utilizing some of this expansion space. As far as land goes in the park, there is let's see. Okay, so there is a little bit of flat land right here. You already have some attractions operating on the flat lands. There is some flat land back here for expansion as well. But when it comes to the Storm, you do have a large infield in the center of the coaster. However, you don't own any of this land. The perimeter of the park pretty much hugs this roller coaster all the way around. So there really is no space to put anything in the middle here. You can, however, though, you can buy the land. I don't know what the expense is, but you can buy all of this land in the center of the Storm if you want to build, another coaster or another midway that stretches all the way down there. You can buy some of the land at the front of the park here. So, if you remove the go kart ride, for instance, and want to build a coaster that extends outwards, there is some land to build here. But you also do have construction rights right here. So, underneath this hill, the Runaway Plumber ride, the queue line and the entrance right here are actually located within the park, but the ride itself, the vast majority of it is underground, and you don't own the land on top of it, but you do own the rights to build either over the land or under it. So building a coaster, building a station, and building over this piece of land may be an option as long as you don't get in the way of the trees. That would be very hard because they're very clustered in here. They're very clustered in here, but also you have to stay a minimum distance or height above the ground, rather, because you don't actually own this land. You just own the right to sort of build over it. You can't modify it, but I don't know how much it costs to buy land, but I'm definitely going to develop the land that is available in the park before considering that. This scenario, you don't get all too much land. There is some more space in here, but the railroad may have to be modified or removed. The railroad, I'm going to keep it around right now because no matter the intensity rating, no matter, sort of the type of ride it is or whatever, people always go on transport rides. So this thing is a moneymaker right now. It may get modified or removed because it is using up some of this very good flat expansion space. The go kart track is using this space, but it's also blocking this ridge over here that's available. And there are only really a couple of decent plots, mid-sized plots to put larger coasters on. There is this land in the middle to keep in mind. I don't know if I want to buy it though, because it certainly will be a hefty fee to buy even a third or half of this land. The Ultimate is a very exciting high admission price coaster as it stands, but its value will decrease over time, and you really need it to be operating because it is the most major attraction in the park. So because I have the brakes failure disabled, the Storm and Runaway Plumber are both coasters in this scenario. Even this little guy right here, the Forest Flyer, all three of them are very prone to crashing. I've had scenarios before where I forgot to put in block sections that all three of them have crashed by the time that this scenario is over. But that won't be a worry for this because that cheat is enabled right now. So I'm not going to go ahead and modify either Forest Flyer or the Wild Mouse inside of the hill right here, because that would just waste some time, and also the coasters would not be operating, not making money. The Storm I may modify at some point in the future, or I may completely rebuild it. The ride isn't very popular as it stands, but if you rebuild sort of a kind of carbon copy of it, make it a little bit more exciting and stuff, it certainly can be it certainly can work out in your favor if more people start going on it, or if you can get a higher admission price from it. So I'm just going to go around before I start. I'm going to look what I have in terms of research. The information kiosk is available, but as always, because you have the information kiosk, the drink stall is missing, but there is a pizza stall and a restroom. I don't know what stalls. There are no food stalls or restrooms or anything, so those will need to be built up for that, especially considering that there are quite a few people in the park and it's already established. So there is a log flume available. Uh, the pirate ship is already built, but the twist is available as well. The go karts have already been built. Let's see here. All of these coasters have already been constructed except for the junior roller coaster, which is available, and general rides. There is no carousel in this map that I'm aware of. There is no carousel, so that may be something that is able to be installed as well right away. And there is already a train in operation. So I'm going to go ahead and make sure that I'm researching to get that drink stall so that people don't get upset and leave the park right away. There we go. And then after that, I will probably focus on more thrill rides or coasters, or things to supplement. There are a few designs that are already in the bank here, sort of, that I'm willing to use. So Forest Flyer will be able to generate $4.50. I can increase the cost on that ride. There is no park admission fee, which is good. Richard's Wreckers will be a $4 ride. And the queue time, I'll have to see if the race needs to be shortened to 2 laps as opposed to 3, because I don't want the queue time to be too long. I'll keep the boat ride around as well. 250 is a decent number for it to make. The train will only generate $2, but it has 3 stations, so that's triple the possibility of making money off of it. The swinging ship ride will probably make at least 250, if not $2. The Storm will be able to charge 650, but also $3 for the on-ride photo, so that will be making some good money right away. And then Runaway Plumber can charge 450 per ride. So essentially what I'm doing here is I'm just increasing all of the rides to their excitement value just to make sure that the maximum amount of money can be obtained from that. And this will actually be able to charge 250 for the pirate ship, so that is good. Shops and stalls do not add to the value of your park rating. The information kiosk can go right here at the entrance. $1 for park maps and $5 for umbrellas. As for food stalls, a pizza stall right there. There are some benches in this area. There are no litter bins though, so um, I will have to get on that. And a restroom, I'll put it up here at the entrance as well. And as time goes on, I can always build more in the back sections of the park. Staff, I'll hire 3 handymen, 2 mechanics to start. One of these handymen I want specifically in the area of the storm back here, because this path gets filthy. It's a very high intensity ride. Yeah, this guy can handle this general area only. I'm gonna change this to maybe a wooden entrance, give it a little bit more color. Forest flyer can be a log cabin entrance. Same with the old galleon back here. Generic entrance is fine there. Same with the train stations. Runaway plumber you can't see, so it doesn't really matter. And maybe for this one I go with the classical one. Okay. So I'm gonna start by building rides right off the bat, just because I want to be able to keep this park rating up as much as possible. I don't want it to decrease over time, very quickly. And there is some space right back here, so I will construct that there. All right. That's good. Twisted. Twisted spinner. What did I just do? I must have hit some sort of... Yeah. I had some sort of hotkey to trigger that weird screen. Maybe a purple and an orange for this. Maybe not orange. I really don't like orange as a color. I don't know why. Okay, that'll work. And I'll add some music to it. Why not? Okay. I'll increase the inspection time on this. This one has a very high tendency to break down a lot and have issues. So I'll see what else I have here. The log flume in the junior coaster. I already have 3 coasters operating in the park, so I may opt for a log flume right here. Um, Either here or here. This is a little bit more room, so I may end up saving that land for something larger. This isn't a lot of space at all, though, for a log flume. And there isn't much land. Okay, I will start the log flume out here. Um, I'll see how far I get in terms of land and stuff. Oh, and I'm like already running out of money. you are able to take a loan of 25,000, so a little bit better than other scenarios. You only start with 1,000, and there is no like penalty for that. So I'll build a custom design. Let's see. There isn't really a good space to start building this here. Okay. This isn't going to be a very long design at all, but I mean, for what it is, how much lands did I have there? I have up to here. It is $90 to buy land in this scenario. So okay, I'm just kind of thinking of what I want to do right now in terms of this attraction. I got to do see-through scenery here. How much space is there over here? So this ride is hugging. I have an idea of what I want to do. I'm going to spend a lot of money buying land, or end up spending a lot of money buying land for this attraction, but I think it's kind of necessary. There isn't a lot of expansion space here, so I'm gonna get yelled at very soon here to that I don't have enough money left over. So maybe this does a double down right out of the station, right next to the water. Yep, out of money. I don't want this log flume to become too expensive. I mean, once I don't have to buy land anymore, it won't be expensive, but it won't be as expensive, I should say. But if I'm spending 90 bucks a pop, I at least want to buy up to the edge of this here. Ah, too much. Too much land. Okay. And I'm out of money again. Yeah, this is going to end up being a very expensive log flume. I don't know what I was thinking getting myself involved here, but um, this is going to go underground now, though. And there is some space in here. Maybe it has a very, you know, long, long underground portion as well. I have to get back up to 40 feet to consider um, to factor in the entrance and exit, or the return to the station, I should say. Oh, I have a reverser turntable. Okay, that's cool. That should add to the excitement value of this ride. Um, cool. So this thing is already going to have one, technically two. This is kind of one big drop, but technically it's going to have one, two, three, four drops within this mountain. And maybe I begin bringing it back up here. Have it pop out there. Okay, so that worked out fairly well. All right, I'm gonna have to toggle scenery back on here so I can see the entrance and exit. Will have to go this way for this. Oh, this is a dirt path over here, not tarmac. And then this. That is a good enough queue line. I'm going to start testing this out. Let's see here. I do want as many boats on this as possible just for capacity. And this one will also receive a log cabin style entrance. Guests are hungry and can't find anywhere to buy food. Oh shoot, I spent too much time researching there. Um, the shops and stalls. Because I got the drink stall, but I'm also getting fruity ices now. Okay. So on this main drag, I'm just gonna add in the food and drinks so that it's there at the front of the park to begin with. Once I get fruity ices, I'll add that in as well because guests are complaining that they can't find anywhere to eat, and I'll add another drink stall and restroom while I'm at it. But my priority right now is getting this log flume up and operating. Let's see here. A name for it. Lumber. Oh, forest. Something flume. Frontier flume, I guess. Not the most creative name, but certainly this thing will have high capacity and it will bring people into the park. I spent a lot more money on it than I wanted to. I still do have another $10,000 on the loan, though. That is enough money for another major attraction. And once this opens, the park will begin making its money back more and more. I just want to make sure that these rides are at least popular. What is this? Twisted Spinner. Is that just because? Okay, that's just because of the rain. The rain really hurt this ride. Um, okay. It probably will have somewhere between four. Okay, so this is a $5 ride. And it also does have the option for the $3 on ride photo. So potentially $8 per ride out of this attraction, minimum five. That's good for a log flume. And here I'll add in some, don't really have the money for this right now, but I like adding in a little bit of texture to the rides. Out of money. $16,000 loan. Okay. Man, I'm really going overboard with the scenery and theming of this ride. Okay, that's enough. Or otherwise, I'll end up spending all my money on rock work for my flume ride. Um, roller coaster will be the next one developed. I kind of do want some more. Yeah, I would like a different roller coaster design as well as some more flat rides. I do already have the all the thrill rides here. I could put in a merry-go-round though. I haven't. I don't have one in the park. This is a good location for one. There, there. Is that? Test it out. I do want to replace the trees that I mutilated while building this attraction. Just a few of them. Maybe I'll make it a sort of pink carousel for Katie's World. Yeah, there isn't. There's a little bit of pink or magenta, if you will, on this, but they can't find the bathrooms in the park. Okay, sorry, got distracted there. 155. So it will be 150, but it also serves as an indoor attraction. That's a weird thing. Typically guests won't go on, outdoor attractions in the rain. But Runaway Plumber, the AI of the game does realize that it's underneath the terrain fully. So let's just take a look at it. Actually, no, I want this, and I do need that off as well. Oh God, 17-minute queue time. Okay, no, that's not good at all. I don't have to worry about this thing crashing because you know, actually, one thing I'm gonna do just to boost the capacity, 2 cars per train. There we go. Yeah, the line is insane for this, and you can't really shorten it at all because I mean you can build a path up to there, but this thing's already all laid out. Oh no, my game's not responding. Shoot, I'm gonna be so upset if it crashes for some reason. Please, I may not be able to save it. Yeah, so I think it did just crash. It's not responding, but I don't want to just exit out of it because this is why it's a good thing to constantly save your scenarios because now is the first time. It's not like I'm really far into this one, but certainly. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this on. I'm not going anywhere. I'm just going to troubleshoot. I'm just going to troubleshoot here. See if by dumb luck if there's an autosave file that was created for this one. Okay. If not, I will cut the stream short. I don't feel like playing through all of it again. I will play through the scenario, of course, but I get a fresh start. Maybe not spend as much money on a log flume. Um, Today is 2/19. Okay, so I didn't lose much money, or not much money, but I didn't lose much progress here. So okay, I'm gonna force fix the ride. No, I'm not gonna do that. Someone's fixing the ride right now. Let's see here. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is, do I have brakes failure disabled? Yeah, we're gonna need that on for this scenario in particular. I'm gonna do 2 cars per train on this one. 2 cars per train. Gonna run up the lift speed. No minimum wait time. Don't have to wait for full load, or I'm gonna reopen it. That should help the capacity issues with that. Oh my god. Oh, well, I guess I never switched the screen over anyways. It seems like whenever I change Runaway Plumber, that it that's when the game crashes on me. So let me see here if I can try it one more time. If it crashes again, then I'll be done for the time being. Um, okay. Keep clicking on people, not the ride. I know you can't see what's going on right now, or I guess I can. Um, there we go. So every time I modify Runaway Plumber, it crashes on the game, like crashes on me or doesn't respond. So I'm gonna close it. Hopefully this guy's fixing it. 2 people still on ride. I'm just gonna try doing this in a way that it doesn't end up crashing. I don't know what the issue is. I haven't had this problem before. Test it. Open it. Okay, so that's working now. And now I am going to create a save game as here. I don't know why caps lock is on. Okay, so that should help solve the problems of the queue times on this. This ride hasn't opened yet. So it's still a $5 attraction with a $3 on ride photo option. Not gonna spend as much money this time around with the theming, because that was a stupid idea to begin with. I will once I start to get more money. Um, you know, maybe I end up doing a little bit of this. I am gonna save the rest of the rock work for another time. Just want to do that. Okay. And then I was building a carousel over here right before. It's when I modified Runaway Plumber that the ride crashed. Um, so I'm gonna rapid fire build here. The same carousel that I did. Did I build it like that? I did. Yep. Ah, don't know what happened there. Okay. Built it like that. Then I ended up doing these trees. 15 rotations. And I do apologize again for the little bit of confusion before. The game was crashing and I was trying to fix it on the fly, so I put up the be right back screen. This will get $1.50. Okay. So in this area, I'm actually going to build another food stall and a restroom. Ruby ices. Restroom will go here so that people don't get upset that the restroom's too close to the food. A lot of garbage developing in this park, so I'm going to have to hire a couple more handymen, maybe another mechanic. I'm not really explaining a lot of what I'm doing here. I mean, the goal is still the same, and I will pause once I put these bins in. I'm going to pause right now just to explain. The goal is still the same. It's a park value scenario as opposed to a guests in the park scenario. So the difference with that is, just like I mentioned during Diamond Heights is the only one so far that we've encountered a park value, a park value that you have to reach. The goal is still the same. You want to provide a good service or experience for your guests. You want to bring as many people into the park as you can because, while no, you're not directly looking to have 750, 1,000 guests in your park. Every guest that you have in the park counts towards your park value. I think every guest is worth $1. So if you have 1,000 guests in your park as opposed to 500, and I apologize, I just knocked down my microphone. There we go. If you have 1,000 guests as opposed to 500, that's an extra $500 towards your park value. Now, when you're aiming for a park value of $150,000, no, $500 is not a lot. But at the end of the day, $500 maybe make it or break it between $149,000 500 or $149,500 park rating and $150,000. So yes, you're trying to get as many guests in the park. Yes, you want a good park rating. Um, you want good collections of rides. You want relatively new rides. You want a lot of rides that are worth a lot of money. I am building flat rides to supplement what's already here, and I actually forgot as well. The amount of guests that ride the rides in your park in the last 5 minutes also factors in towards the park value. So I'm going to shorten up the flat ride cycles just a tad, so that people can be getting on and off of these rides quickly. Richard's records, I'll do a 2 lap race as opposed to a 3 lap race. Um, the coasters are all, sort of doing fine as they are. Minimum wait time, okay. That works. So I'm definitely going to have to. Huh? 262. Okay, that doesn't change. That one I'm going to have to hold off on. Twisted Spinner is $2. Did this one even open? Yeah, it did. So I never changed the price on it, so that was a boo boo on my part. And Katie's Carousel is only going to get $1 now as opposed to $1.50. But the 50 cents won't add as much, it won't have as much an effect on your revenue and your overall park value than having the shorter ride cycles and having that factor in. A lot of people are hungry or thirsty, but I have food stalls. They're not ordering anything though. I'll add another drink stall back here, but there's really no need to have more stalls in the park. It's not all that large yet. So I have another $9,000 in the bank for another attraction. Revenue isn't coming back as well. I spent a ton of money last month, all in building this custom log flume. That was probably a lot more money than I should have spent, but I wanted to kind of put in a major attraction right away, and I felt that that was a little bit more unique than the coasters that were available. Queue time for this. Okay, I want to make sure that none of the queue times are too much. 7 minutes for Richard's records, but of course I did just shorten it from a 3 lap race to a 2 lap race, so that should have helped it a bit. Runaway Plumber is now 3 minute queue time as opposed to 18, so I definitely improved the operations of that coaster big time by modifying it. I wish more people would go on the Storm, but it's just, such a high intensity coaster. People that come to Katie's World, I think that they generally have lower tolerances for the intensity. So not a lot of people go on it because the threshold, the guest's intensity preferences for this scenario, this coaster is well above the intensity that many of them can end up tolerating. It's kind of a waste though, because it's such a huge custom coaster and it would bring in so much revenue, but it's just not a good fit in this park for it. I'm not going to get rid of it though, because the people that are riding it, I mean, as long as it's bringing in some, I mean, yeah, it is still bringing in a good amount of revenue for not many people riding it. So the log flume certainly seems to be a better fit for a very large custom ride. People are going on Runaway Plumber. The rest of the rides all have people, waiting in the queue lines, so everything else is performing well. But see, they don't want to go on the Storm because it's too intense, but then they get to the ride like the Carousel and they say that it's not intense enough. So the guests in the scenario definitely have a very finite preference of what types of rides they want to go on. Rides like the go-karts and the pirate ship and the mini suspended coaster do very well. The boat docks are actually, well, that's partly because people get lost and spend forever on this ride. Um, but the carousel doesn't do well. The storm doesn't do well. But these very mid-sized rides are all what the people want to go on and are expecting from this park. So that's something to keep in mind as I build the next major attraction coaster is don't build something as intense as the storm. Build wild mouse coasters and build different things. And I definitely got to add more bins to this park. I mean, look at all the trash. Oh wait, there. I don't think I ever did add bins anywhere really. So I'm going to add a bunch of them here, especially around the food area. There may have been a few bins, yeah, because like I didn't place these in, but there certainly is a lot of bins in some sections and no bins in others. So that should help right there. With the garbage on the grounds, there virtually is a bin at you know just about every few every dozen yards or so. And there already are a lot of benches placed around the park, so that's good. Now I have 2 grand in the bank, so money's coming in a little bit better. It does rain a lot, if I remember correctly, in this scenario as well, so that's probably going to hurt things. Yep, and as I say it, here we go again. Here comes the rain. As far as research goes, I did get a bobsled coaster. A bobsled coaster may be a great thing to put in here because it would be that intensity range that people are looking to ride. As long as I don't build it with too many turns and too crazy that the intensity rating is, outrageous. But once I get some more money, or I can even loan some right now, bobsled coaster back here is a good thing. Park value is at 114,000, so it has increased. We did start, it's 150,000. I believe I said we started with about half of it. So the park value definitely is increasing with what I put in so far. And as more people come in the park, I may actually run, excuse me, I may run an advertising campaign, a cheaper one, just to get some more people in the park. I'm going to end up spending like half the money that I have in the bank, but it is coming in more now. As far as rain rides go, merry-go-round Runaway Plumber right there will be popular, whereas the rest of them really, yeah, the rest of them are not really built to operate well in the rain. A bobsled coaster will not be a good option for that, but at the same time, I don't know what else I could build. Okay, So I do have the mini coaster. The mini coaster might be a really good thing to build somewhere in the park in the future because that is the type of, oh wait, but I already have it in Runaway Plumber. The junior coaster will be a good coaster to build. People will definitely be willing to ride that. The bobsled coaster may also be one that's within good intensity range. Maybe I'll build another one of these gentle rides just because they seem to do well in this park. I'm going to hold off though. I think I'm going to save up a little bit of money to invest in the next big coaster, and that should really help the park value jump. For this park, I'm probably going to be looking at least two more coasters, along with maybe a custom tracked ride and a few more flat rides. Getting more people in the park. I'm building a couple more of those custom rides. The log flume really did help the value of the park. That was the first big thing. Of course, though, it's going to devalue over time. It's a 3 year scenario, and we're about halfway through year one. So I don't want things to start devaluing too quickly. And as time goes on, I will replace, the merry-go-rounds, the scrambler, the pirate ship with new versions of them just to replenish them and, give them back their original value when the park's going to need it. It isn't as high of a spinning wild mouse is available. Oh, that's another good option to use somewhere in the park. It's not a hard scenario, but the land is a little bit weird. Money is a bit of a worry. Um, you don't have to get as much of a park value as Diamond Heights, but this park is already aged a little bit more, and the people, whereas in Diamond Heights, people really wanted to go on the coasters and intense rides. The people that visit this park are very quirky, and they have a very finite range of the stuff that they're looking for. So you kind of have to get used to that. Do I have a park rating goal? Okay, so no park rating goal. The park value just has to be high, but park rating does somewhat play in the park value, so that's something to remember. As far as this goes, I don't want to build anything too crazy. I may have to build a custom design. Most of these, you can get a decent intensity rating. I mean, Mini Bob right here. I don't really like using the pre-built designs, but for the sake of A, time, the sake B, it is the type of intensity that I'm really looking for in this scenario. Plus, it doesn't take up the entirety of the space here. I might just build this right here. Let's do it. Oh, I don't have the money for that. I mean, I am gonna build more custom rides. I'm not gonna, just plop down a bunch of these type rides. But that's perfect space. It's perfect intensity. I wanted a bobsled coaster in here. I mean, there's no reason not to go with that design. Considering the park that this is, and so I'm gonna build that there and that there. It's gonna go there. I may adjust this one to have block breaks just because, yeah. I want it to be as realistic as possible. All right, begin testing this. We'll have 2 trains, 8 cars per train. Bump that lift speed. It's already at its maximum value. And I may be able to use the snow entrance for this one the first time that I use this, but it definitely fits in with the bobsled theme. Oh, what am I doing here? I like the color scheme of this one. The purple, the white, and the blue. Train 1 is going to be Sort of a Canada theme, I guess, or Swiss bobsled theme. Train two, I think I'm gonna go with the Jamaican bobsled team. If I had three colors, I would you know if I had three trains rather, I would go with more. But in fact, this shouldn't be Swiss. This park is based in the UK, so I think that it's more appropriate if the UK colors are used on this train. Blue, red, white, and blue, UK style. And train two can remain the Jamaican bobsled team. Why not? Okay. Medium intensity rating, that's perfect. It has a high excitement rating. It will get $5 per ticket. So that works out great. And I will advertise this one. Cool. As for the name, I'll call it Bumblebee Bobsled. I could add snow and ice theming to the center of it, but I think it would look really bad in the middle of this large grassy area. I'm gonna need a couple more handymen. These guys aren't really doing their jobs that well, or they're just not making their way around the park efficiently. Walls and fences. I'll use railings here, some light blue railings. I think I'm getting a phone call. Hang on one second. I will be right back. Okay. Sorry, that may have been loud and very unexpected. Um, I just had to take a phone call really quickly, and I'm back. All right, so just some simple railings going along here. I'm probably gonna end up building something over here, but for right now, the railings are cheap. Excuse me. These handymen are certainly okay. So that's the guy that I already set. What? Why did handyman 1 and handyman 3 have the same exact patrol zone? No, I don't want to name him something different. Okay, that's odd. I just don't know why handyman 3, whenever I set handyman 1, is the same exact patrol zone there. That's I'm not gonna look too much into it or worry about it. This guy though, he's gonna be in this area because for some reason this walkway is getting so much litter. I don't know why. So hopefully that helps resolve things. As for this attraction, 2 minutes queue time. That's good. It's not a very long queue. It's not a very intense ride. It looks very realistic for sort of a bobsled coaster, but that intensity rating is definitely what guests want to ride in this scenario. So it's not, the greatest attraction in the world, of course, but it's certainly something that fits this park very well. Um, so that leaves me. I wasn't even expecting to put anything in here, but this one fit like a glove. I still have this large space for expansion. I have a little bit in here. Um, I have the little bit back here, but this is very hilly, terrainy. I used up all of this for the very ambitious log flume design that I created. Wait, why are the boats going in reverse back to the station? Ah, I didn't mean to do that. Come on. Oh, I'm messing up today, big time. I mean, it's going too fast through this one. That's the problem. It needs to be virtually at a complete stop. So I'm gonna have to put it here. That's yeah. Okay, so that's fixed. I guess. I'm really off today though. I'm not doing bad or anything here. The park value is already almost where it has to be, and it is going to end up increasing a little bit. But this scenario, I've just run into a lot of little issues between the crashing problem a little bit earlier and me just making some silly mistakes on simple things that I, never mess up type of deal. But taking a look at the park right now, the storm is profiting even more now. So I guess as long as the rain holds off, more people will end up riding it because it was at only a $4,000 revenue per hour before, and now it's at over $15,000. I don't know where that jump came from, and these it's sending full trains as well, just about. So that's weird. The rides are all doing well though. Overall, nobody's getting lost. It is a small lake, but nobody is getting lost on the boat ride, or at least I haven't gotten any messages. Knock on wood. By disabling the brakes failure, I didn't have to modify any of these rides. I modified Runaway Plumber for operational reasons and queue line reasons, but the other ones I didn't have to spend a lot of time and lost revenue modifying because with the brakes failure disabled, they can operate the RCT1 style without block sections. Since I built this one custom though and it wasn't open yet though, I did add in that block section to make it a bit more realistic. It does stop on the lift, not very realistic, but I'm not gonna worry too much about fine tuning it at this point. In fact, I'm going to give this one the Roman entrance as well. I think that it's nice for the middle of the park to have sort of that, not Roman style, but it kind of looks like a garden style as well. It looks nice on these rides here. So, in terms of research, Wooden Wild Mouse looping roller coaster. I could build a shuttle loop, or I could build a traditional looping coaster back here. That actually works out very well in my favor. Or I could build two of them. I could build a shuttle loop, and I could build a custom one. So that gives me a lot of options for this. In the past, I built it right here, but it's a very kind of steep terrain to put in a queue line and all that good stuff. Unless, I mean, I could countersink it into the land so that it comes down flush to the pathways right here, but I'll see what other options I have. I don't want to really touch this back here yet. This is going to be the worst land to develop. There is some flat land here for more flat rides. You know, not really much space here by the storm. This is essentially going to remain untouched the way it is. This is a very big space. I want to save this for a large attraction. And I mean the shuttle loop. There, are, if I do build a traditional shuttle loop, there are a lot of places in park that it can fit already. Um, People are still coming back here reversed. Or not. I don't know. Well, they're coming in forwards. What is going on with this log flume? Is this section right here just getting like two? If you have two logs close to each other, let's see what happens. So this one's going to turn around, right? They're all turning around. I just don't understand. It is what it is at this point. I'm not going to worry about it too much. You may get a forwards or a backwards facing ride depending on which log you get. And that's that. Or I'll just pretend that they're all facing forwards and I never added that reverser section in. So I am getting some more money now. I only have $5,000 loan left, so I'll repay a couple thousand of it just to bank a little bit of that money, and I have it if I need it for something major. I do want to save this area of the park for something larger than a shuttle loop, so I may end up building it right here. I just really want the path to line up with it because I don't want some wacky looking path in the middle of the park. So maybe I'm gonna, where to go? Looping roller coaster. I would build a junior coaster, but you know, I've done a lot of them already and it's going to take up a bit more space. I've done a shuttle loop probably in about half of the parks that I've worked on so far, so it hasn't been an every park thing. And I always try to put a little bit of a twist on it, make it something a little bit different than. So that, yeah, this is going to be the problem with it is that it's going to require a lot of terrain work. So vertical loop left. I mean, not very unique of a shuttle loop design. That's practically the existing one already, but it is what it is, I guess. Maybe I'll do like a nice pink for Katie's World. Nice pink kind of, or purple's yellow maybe. Yellow. That looks good. All right, so I mean, I want the entrance and the exit for this thing to not be so bad, if that makes sense. I don't think that there's going to be, it's definitely not going to reach the ground if I, no. But I could always do that. That doesn't look too bad. And then on this one, kind of mirror that. Yeah, because there's a decent amount of rides out there that have sort of like an elevated station like this with a walkway. That doesn't look too bad there, and I like the colors that it started out with. We already have a green coaster over here, but the green, and I don't know if that's like a light orange or is it light brown? Yeah, sure. Doesn't look too bad, and I'll give it a nice Katie's World type of theme here. That looks, I'll give it like a sky blue. It'll have to do powered launch mode without the passing station and test this out. Okay, it's going to need a little bit more juice. It's going to be fun to watch here. It's not going to make it back around. So, 40-mile-an-hour launch, reset, open, or test rather. You want it to just kind of barely make it around the loop on both runs because that way it'll keep your intensity down. Or maybe yeah, I will add in the second spike. There definitely is room for it here. Okay. Test it out again. That'll add a little bit to the excitement rating and such of the ride. Did I put with passing station? No. With passing station I need. Passing station. Okay. So this is more of a traditional shuttle loop. Of course, there isn't the long straight sections and the breaks outside of the station, but the shape of it is the more traditional style, like the Schwarzkopf style. And I will add some plants and stuff around it to boost that excitement value even more. 4.5, so it'll get 450 per ticket. It'll be a fast ride. Loop. Um, I'll call it like Whirling Dervish, maybe. Whirling Dervish. And I kind of like the idea. I was high on that color scheme before. Ooh, I kind of like that. And a dark red, maybe. The green sort of looks gaudy in there. Yeah, that looks better, I guess. And I'll do entrance. Maybe the pagoda style. I don't know. And I'll add some scenery and trees around it. So maybe a couple of these in here. Few of these sprouted around the ride. And then as far as trees go, um, these ones will be nice for this area. Cool. I'll add in some of the rope fencing right here. Add it in here so that looks realistic. Oh god, I can't even see under that coaster now. I guess I'm right here. That's good enough with the fencing for now. I will run a advertising campaign for it. 6 weeker. How much money do I have? All right. Repay another 1,000 of the loan. Park value is already over here. What the scenario requires. The only problem is end of year one, and already hitting that value. It's only unless I get a lot more people in the park or I continue building, it's only going to go down from there. So I like having a cushion usually when I build parks, anyways. Enough of a cushion so that when it comes to be the third and final year, I'm not running way too close to that park value. And, maybe the day right before the end of the scenario, there's nothing I can do and I dip below it. So I end up losing the scenario. I think that the park's going very well though so far. I didn't use up all the expansion space. I did spend so much money at the beginning of the scenario. The vast majority of this log flume is sort of indoors. I'd imagine if this were real life, there'd be animatronics and different show scenes, Splash Mountain esque or Timber Mountain log ride. There are a bunch of dips and drops within the mountain, but the first big drop is the one that you come out of the station and you go right into the double down and then into the mountain and do your thing, come around. Um, and from there I put in a couple of flat rides with what I had. I added in these two coasters most recently here in the very middle of the park. It kind of looks, there's a lot going on right here, but in other sections of the park, there isn't a lot going on. That will change. I'm about done though. This section will be preserved for future expansion, but this section right in the heart of the park is just about done. And as I said before, there's nothing I can really do with the storm. I'm just going to let it operate as is for right now so I don't lose that revenue and have it being closed. It is a very good revenue generating coaster. Before it starts raining, I'm gonna see top profiting attractions. Profit. So actually, Runaway Plumber, the storm dipped down again. It is still a top two attraction, but Runaway Plumber is currently the highest profiting one per hour. The Flume is doing very well. The Bobsled and Whirling Dervish are doing well. Whirling Dervish will go up from here. The go karts are doing well. Um, you know, same with the other rides. The two rides that I put in, the two flat rides, the train isn't making as much profit, but it is profiting. The two flat rides I put in are both profiting, but definitely not as much as I had imagined. But nothing is, excuse me, losing money. Total profit, I mean, yeah, very similar. Whirling Dervish is still relatively new, but the other two flat rides I put in made a little bit of money, I guess, to offset their operating costs. The Storm is the best profiting attraction of all time. Guest favorite. Um, the Storm is fourth on the list. Runaway Plumber is a very popular ride. The Flume and the Bobsled, I guess, were good additions because they're number two and number three. These two flat rides, not many people are liking them. Whirling Dervish likely will climb, but it's not bottom of the barrel. It's, in the kind of middle of the pack, if you will. Profits here, they're all profiting. The second drink stall, certainly there's room to make more money, but everything's profiting. The information kiosk is greatly profiting. Two restrooms are their losses, but I'm not going to charge for them. Park ratings holding well. The loan I did pay a little bit back, so over time I will pay more and more of that back, so I have enough to take out if need be. Um, so then on pause. End of year one almost. The park's in a very good position. It's already, up to the value it needs to be at, a little bit over. It will go down, but into year two and year three, there certainly is expansion space over here to be used. There is a little bit over here as well, sprinkled in, but I think this back area of the park is going to be the main area that's eyeballed for that expansion. And there is some room over here. Some filler attractions will go in, I imagine. As far as removing anything, I don't know if I want to do any of that right now, unless something totally starts not profiting or that. There is this land in the middle of the park as well, but buying land is expensive in this scenario. It is a hilly terrain, and I would need to bring a path system out there because the storm is kind of the way that the queue line and the exit ramp are set up. It's, the space was really meant for this attraction. Um, but it is a potential in the future, even if I don't use all of it. If I buy a third of it or half of it for space for another large attraction, that is a possibility. I don't think I'll need it though. The rate at which the scenario is going so far, there should be enough space to kind of supplement keeping this park value up. Okay, so I'm gonna save this one, and I'm gonna hold off on this for right now. I will end the stream here because I'm gonna get dinner and stuff like that. I may come back later to finish this one off, or finish this and do Dinky Park because Dinky Park is only a 2 year scenario as opposed to three, so it is a bit shorter. And I already did start this one. I am about a third of the way through. So thank you for watching. This will be continued. Kind of picking up some loose ends here, finishing off Trinity Islands today, and starting Katie's World to make up a whole sort of full length stream. But thank you for watching. I will catch up on posting YouTube and stuff, and I will be back soon for the end of Katie's World and more scenarios.